Welcome back to Tr6 Parts. So, it's now 2024. I've been saying that I'm going to have some amazing videos coming at the start of next year, and here it is. So, in this sequence of videos, we're restoring the customer's car, and I've been waiting for some time. The engine's actually been fully rebuilt, it's been there for a bit behind me. But there's a lot of new stuff going into this car, which I'm going to go through. There's going to be amazing videos how to do it. Not every video is going to be compromised in this, because I'm going to edit this. However, if you're watching these series of videos and the stuff in it that you've missed, check out the other videos, because some of the parts what I will do is I will do a separate video on it, on the how-to as we assemble, because there's a few topics I'd like to cover that people have asked me to do, and now has the opportunity to do it. Also the live feed, so this is the car I plan on doing the live feeds with, hopefully, if everything works out. So I hope to give people some notice to say when we're going to do the live feed. And again, if you want to join in, you can always grab the membership and throw some comments across or some questions. Put me on the spot. So that's really it. I've been looking forward to doing this car for a while. Our P6P project car is going to take a bit of a back step until it gets done, because obviously he wants to be on the road as soon as he can, and I want to see it on the road as well. So yeah, the car's sitting right behind the camera. So let's swing the camera around and see what we have. What do we have here? We have Doug's 1974 Tr6 in Delph blue. So the last time I seen this car, I had it here and I was stripping it apart. I was taking the windscreen frame off. I've done videos on how to remove the windscreen frame, the dash pad, the wood, the crash pads at the side. I've done the videos on them, so that's what this car was at that time. And went out to the body shop, went out to Lorenzo's out in Oakville, done an amazing job painting it. Busy. I recommend if you want to get your stuff done to go out to him. Like I said, just don't expect it soon, because he's a very busy man. He does great work. Amazing job. So if you're out that direction and want your car painted, I recommend you go see Lorenzo. Yeah, I said it's back here. I've been looking forward to this car for a while. And we have a lot to do. So let me give you a quick walk around and I'll tell you what's in store. So what do we have? Obviously the hood's going to come off. We're going to take that off, and what we're going to do is we're going to put this very expensive packaging on it. This is very, very expensive. It cost me $2 per one from the dollar store for these noodles. So I'm struggling because I had to buy them. So what I'm going to do is we're going to cut these noodles actually. I'm going to put a strip down it, and I'm actually going to shove them over and actually squeeze them. No different if you're putting the seal on it around the doors or anything like that, or the edge of a door. I'm going to put these all around the edges of the hood when I take it off, so I can actually pull up and put it to the side and stack it, because there's no engine and gearbox in this, so that all has to go in, so that's off. Other than that, like I said, car is painted, great job done. We have a lot to do. If this looks familiar, that's pretty much how I left it the last time I seen it. And yeah, we're going to do, here's a list of stuff we're going to do. We're going to raise the steering rack, so we're going to raise this and try to get nearly a 2-inch lift of the wheel. I'm hoping for a 2-inch, it could be anywhere between 1 and 2. Everything new is going to be in here. There's going to be new carpet, seats, panel kit, dashwood, wiring harness, rebuilt engine going in, rebuilt gearbox going in, new rad, oil cooler, oil feed, new fuel tank, new seals, rubbers, the new steering wheel, wooden steering wheel, knob. Yeah, there's so much new stuff going. This is going to be absolutely amazing when it gets done. So the seats as well, they were covered by, they actually got the seat covers from John Skinner in the UK. So they're real leather. Very, very high quality. So if you want to spend that money and get the high quality, I'd recommend John Skinner as well in the UK. Yeah. So we're going to do all this, and you can see it's nothing better than getting a freshly painted car. I like when I paint them myself, because there's nothing better when it's freshly done. The hard part is trying to scratch the thing. That's always the worry. But see, it only arrived to me yesterday, so this is how it arrived with boxes of parts, bits and pieces in it. So yeah, I hope you join us on, I hope you continue to watch this video, say join us. Yeah, as I go along, we're going to go through certain things. I will do the how to install parts on it. but most of it will be time-lapsed as we go through. And again, any questions, I will be doing some, I plan on doing some live videos with this. So I will stop and do some live stuff as I go along, live feeds as I install certain things. I don't know, I might even do the live feed when I'm putting the engine in. That's an interesting one. I may not. Give or take time. Oops. But yeah, that's going to be it. So the plug's coming off first. When we get that off, we're going to take all the bits and pieces out and we're going to have a good look at it and make sure everything is today. I've got all the parts that's going to go into it and sort of separate them into order of what's going in first. I'm going to start with the wiring harness. So once this comes off, all the electrical wiring harness goes in because I want to go get that in there while nothing's in there because it's easier to run around. And well, that's really it. So let's start taking the hood off. So roll on the time lapse. Okay, so I have it all unbolted from the front hinges. I originally was pulling it down and then I realised I'd forgotten the two at the side. When I went to lift off, I wonder why it wasn't coming off the hinge. So that's it. So now it lifts from it all up. Now I can actually slide the moving blanket all the way down again. Hinge. This one's get stuck in everything. Alright. So moving blanket between paint. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a noodle on the front and allow me to actually pull the blanket down. Put my blade. So that'll be the cleanest cut. The point is I can get noodle on. Now that's on. Now what I can do is, I can do it one of two ways, and I had it before, so I can slide it towards me, or I can fold this piece over and put the blanket together if I had a bigger one, and pull the blanket and lift as I go down. So what I want to do is, I do want to make sure though the blanket is tucked in, so when it comes, I make sure I'm less likely to touch it, even though I think over this way would be better. That way I'm not rubbing this along here either. So hold it, but I can get my hands halfway up now, and I should be able to go in one go. There we go. Here it comes. And you can see she's sitting on the noodle. So now, nice and easy. Right. So now she's sitting. This came off no problem. So here's our engine bay. This got painted some time ago, so that's why it's dusty. This is all going to have to get washed and cleaned. But yeah, now she's sitting. See, she's sitting nicely on the noodle. So what I'll do now is I can now remove the rest of it, and I'll noodle it. I'll do the same. I'll noodle all around, and I'll put some clean film around it, and that should keep her nice and tidy. So that's how we're going to get the hood off. So yeah, these ones here I forgot, because I went to lift up and wonder why it wasn't coming. I forgot. Should do these first ideally when it's propped up, but the bar's not in here either. You can get to it from the side. You can actually reach a ½ inch in to get it. I do have one that has a flexible head, which would be much easier, but that's out in the truck, so this will do. Right, so that's it. Hood is off. Now time to wash the bay. So what will I do? I don't know whether to wash it first or we'll just rub it down. I'll give it a spray and clean now because all the wiring harness is going to go through it. So let's go work, and I'll go do that hood. So I guess on with more time lapse. welcome back. So what we're moving on to here is the dash. So I've put all the grommets into the front, and now I want to move on to doing the dash. However, normally I'll do the electrical and all first, but I want to do this before the electrical, and the reason why is that I want to raise the steering wheel. So I'm basically going to put a 1.5, but I'm hoping somewhere between 1 and 2 inch lift on the steering wheel. So in order to do that, I'm going to get in here and do it actually on the steering column. However, before I do that, I have to actually have the dash bolted in so I can actually get the raise in it to see how far I can go. Before I do that, I have to push the top crash pad on. But before I do that, I have to go put the side pads on. Because for most cases when you buy new ones, usually the side here is very thin, or you get an extra piece hanging over, and that folds over this here on the side. Let me show you here. So this piece here, it normally slide in and slip over, and then it's supposed to be glued on the inside. You have the little metal tab that goes over as well. However, this car here is getting leather. So this was one, and I had a leather cover fitted to it. So it's been covered with leather. So it's going to be quite bulky here. So because of that, I decided to pull the dash completely out. By doing that, I basically took off this bracket here. As you know, usually it's one up, one down. For anybody who's taking it off or going to take it off, you'll find usually a cap like this at the top. So you have to sort of grab it with a vice grips. And like I said, it's one up and one down. So I took that off, and it allowed me to move the dash pads, the dash metal out, so I have it fully exposed to the side. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually install the first crash pad. When I get that on, because I want to be able to push it in as one, not try to squeeze it in, because one, I don't want to damage any of the leather, so I don't want to be trying to squeeze it in between the gap. I'd rather put it in and go down and come back up and slide it in. So I'll put this one on, I'll put the far one on, and then I'll put the top pad on, and then this whole dash pad will go back in, I'll bolt it up, and then I can actually work on doing the raising the steering wheel. So how these go on? Quite simple. We have our 3 bolts at the back, and we have our metal tab. So remember, this is the one that always catches people, because you undo these and it won't come out because you have to get that tab. So that doesn't have to be bent just yet. It just has to, as long as it goes over, because you'll do the final tightening once it's bolted in, and let the bolts basically let these do the work to push it in instead of the tab. Does that make sense? All right. So I'm just going to line up the 3 holes. So I have them on, and I'm going to fit my put the nuts and washers on the back. So when I tighten this up, like I said, I'll let the nuts and these do the work to pull it in, then do your tab. And then when I have that done, I'll do the far side. The far side works the exact same way. But, like I said, this has leather. If you weren't putting leather on it, it's depending who you get them from, depending who your supplier is. Some of them won't have it, and some of them will have the extra flap. Like I said, the extra flap just folds around and gets glued on the inside. Obviously with the dash, the metal dash support sticking out, it's a lot easier to get to the nuts. Now I forgot the thing of the wrong size, so to go get it now, of course. Always happens. Do they have the right size? There we go. Nope, still not the right size. Alright, back again. I know, I'm terrible for forgetting tools. There we go. So for me, I start in the middle. So I'm not pulling one side in and having one out. I start in the middle and then pull the other outer ones in. Does it make a difference? I don't think so. Remember, these are only, you don't want to overdo these. Once you feel tension, you should be stopping. Alright. Push this in and I'll fold the tab around. That's it. Could go a bit more on that tab. So, oops, hang on, let me just take the camera off. Alright, so as I said, it's sitting in, but there's this big space. Like I said, usually it goes up and over and comes over the edge. But that's fine, because once it's in underneath, like, it just allows me to push the dash in and guide it in by myself to make sure it's right in behind, and I'm not trying to force it between a little gap. So, to make sure this is fixed on, because when it all goes in, it'll go in together. Alright, so that's the first one on. I shouldn't need any glue on here because the dashboard's going to hold in there. However, I will probably have to trim here to allow the switches and all to fit in. Same as under here. I'll probably have to take a little trimming off that. But again, I wanted to do it after it's in there. When I go to adjust this up, I may not have to because I might have enough space under there. See where the wiring is hidden? But when I raise the steering, because look how much play I have here. So I want to bring it up, and that should stop this from cutting. So I won't do anything yet until I know I'm finished, and then if I don't have to cut any, I won't have to cut any. So that's it. Alright, so let's fast forward the second side, and then we'll go back and do the dashpad. Okay, so I've gotten these on, And obviously with the extra leather that's on these, it's not making them easy to fit in here. This side wasn't too bad, but it was awful tight on that side. Now I know I had repair done up where the window frame goes in, so I was pushed in, and that's why I was bending this out, because I was trying to get past this part first. However, with all the extra layer in the leather, it's thick and there's not much room here. I've had it. If you've seen in the video, I was putting the nuts in on the bottom, because you should be able to put these in here and the dash should roll, but because of the extra padding, it was getting too stuck, so I wasn't leaving myself enough room to actually get the crash pad on the top. So yeah, what I'm going to do is I'll leave them off for the moment. I'll get the crash pad on and I'll put the dash back in and bolt back up that way, because I need to put nuts on them here as well. And I want to remove the steering wheel, I think, just to make life easy for myself. I don't have to, but I might just do it. To be honest, I don't think the steering is correct anyway, so it's not going to make much of a difference. Alright, so yeah, let's take the steering wheel off. So if you ever want to know how to take it off, this just pops over. This will pop out. If you have nails, you can get in behind it and just pop out. I have no nails, but I just might have enough of a gap. Okay. And then you should have your horn brush. This has obviously seen better days, so that's been grounded down. So, and then we have our nut. Taking the steering wheel off. Rule number one: never take this nut off first. Always just do it so much and then pull the wheel so if it pops, it doesn't send you in the back seat. I learned that many a time ago when I was stripping the Toyota. I took the nut all the way, pulled it, yanked off, and there was nothing behind me. Went in and cracked my head off the back of the car and really split myself open. So, best way to learn: never take this nut off all the way. So, I think this is a 1 inch nut, if I remember off right. Oh, it's a little bigger. It's a probably a 1 1/8. One and 1/16. There we go, that'll do. Remember, this nut is not on very tight either. Ooh. Careful, I don't want to ruin this either. Alright, so I might have to do a little different way. This dash is all falling down on me. So what's resting there? I'm just going to tap this. This is all getting changed anyway. Steering wheels off. Now with that out of the way, I can go back to putting my dash pad on. So I'm going to put the dash pad on next, and then I'm going to push this up and into position, and then I'll button it back up again. Obviously, like I said, this leather is thick, so you can see the thickness of it. That's adding a nice extra layer. So if you think of that on both sides, that's how much squeeze is extra is going in here as well. So I'm making it a little much easier, but we'll get through it. All right, so that's it. I'm gonna move these things out of the way. I'm gonna clean this because the pad is going on top, and then we'll go install the dash pad. All right. All right, welcome back. Alright, so the last time I done this, I ran into a bit of an issue as I went along. The dash metal, the one that was on it, had a crack in here, so it was too flexible. So I actually ended up completely taking it off and actually swapping it out. So I swapped out the crash pads onto a different vinyl. I also removed the entire steering because it was easier just to pull the whole thing off because I want to adjust the height. Because I wanted to adjust it from behind, but I realised that the bracket is bolted onto the metal, so I now have to come up with another idea on how to raise it. I have an idea on what I'm going to do, but until I get all this on, then I'll go with there. So for now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this back on completely. The dash pad that's going to go on it has been covered in leather, so let me squeeze in here. Unfortunately I'm starting to gather tools in here which I don't like, but it happens all the time. I throw everything in I need and then I can't fit in. Alright, so let me show you. I want to show you the difference between an original dash pad and what we have. So here is a brand new original dash pad, which these ones I believe you cannot get anymore. This is the original foam, the original style, the original one that always cracks, as we know. This is a new old stock I managed to come across, but it's brand spanking new. So if you want to be very original, this will be for sale. And if you're watching this video prior to it, I will have an Ancaster. And depending on when you're watching this video, that's Ancaster 2024. So I will be down there with this one. Anyway, how do these go on? If you happen to be putting one of these on, or similar, depending who you buy yours from, these ones are very thin here. They're very thin. And as the studs under here that stick down. And all it simply does is, you would place it underneath until you pull it over the stud, and it stays in place. You wrap it over and bolt it down. Simple as that. I don't know how else to explain it. That's how these go on. And then your metal would come in and get bolted up and keep it pinched here, and that will stop it from lifting. So that's how that one goes. However, the one we have here, this is the one that is going on, and this one is leather. This is the same one as leather coated. I had to cut out the holes, so I put the vents in here, sticking at the bottom. What I had tried to make sure is I put slits in it because I was trying to do the same thing to put it in, but because this is rubber and very thick, good quality rubber, say it's. Some of the vendors will sell a plastic one, i.e. classic gold. They're terrible. Me personally, I find them absolutely atrocious. I don't think they're worth the price of it. These are good. You can get them in two different styles. We sell them in two different styles here. One is vinyl covered, and one of them is no vinyl, where we can sell just the base and then you can put your own cover on it. So we can sell them that you do it and you put whatever vinyl you want on top. As you can see, there's a beautiful leather put on this. The stitching is all down here. It's going to look very nice when it's on. But yeah, and these glue down. They're so thick, they're a thick back, and you fall down and we simple glue them down. However, before I glue it down, I'm going to put it on and actually, I'm going to put it on and clamp it down first so I know it's staying in position. And then, yeah, I'll make sure to glue it on. Alright, so yeah, I'll get this on first, and then I'm going to put the plate on and bring it up to it. I really could do either or. Actually, no, I'm going to put the plate on first. I'm going to actually put the plate on the bottom first. So I had taken it off, I swapped it around, so we'll start off with our two bolts to the side. So these are the ones that you shouldn't have to come out at any point. And so these are the ones that allow the dash to fold down. Now just be mindful, this dash has had leather put onto it, so it's a lot thicker than it should be. So it might be a little funky trying to get it to go up. So as you can see, it just moves around, and we should be able to bring it right up in position. As I should. Put it two different things. Door. Let's get it away. some reason that's not lining up correctly. Seems to be sticking out a lot more than what it should be. I don't know why. Shouldn't be. Anyway. I have to find all the nuts that were holding it on. I'll get at least one. I'm going to take one of these nuts off. There we go. That's right. Just need a little bit of persuasion, say the word. Obviously the aim is to have it lying flush right here or slightly in. And of course, now we can find the socket for it. Of course I don't know where I put it now. Typical. So this will happen here if you put your, oh no, overturning. If you had your soft, you'd put the soft top on first, your top pad, and then as you press this together, that's what clamps it and holds it in. Instead, this one was a glue on one, so it's going to be glued down to here as well. So. Now I just have to find where I pull the rest of the nuts. I think so, kick them all over the place. Tell you what, instead of again, instead of watching me power through this, I'm going to speed it up. So I'm going to put it down, like I said, run the nuts through it, I'm going to glue it down, and we're going to have our dash here. So let me speed up the process. harness on, have it glued down. What I did do when I got to this point is I did go and get the dashwood to make sure it actually fits nice, and it does. It looks good. I don't want to put it on now because I don't want to ruin it. So what I'm going to do with this one now is, normally it wouldn't have all this excess here. As you can see, I know it doesn't look the greatest. And I have glued it to the metal to keep it down, but now I'm going to have to trim all that around. Depending on where the glove box stops, I might have to trim more up here. It is what it is. So this is where we need a sharp blade. And just trim off. Now I'm hoping when I put it on like the gauges, and this one with the gauge pushing here, I might have to again go around it. It is what it is. In the way of that, it goes right up. It's meant to go all the way in, so I might just have to skim around. But I'll go easy. I think I need a newer blade. Right. That was not too bad, but yeah, this one here, I just had to trim around and just put the excess. At this stage, I might as well just keep going. I'm not cutting up here yet because what I might do is take the vinyl off and try to take the backing off and pull it around just to keep this in tight, because I don't want it too loose. I know I'm far away. I just don't want it too loose that it sits out when the wood goes on. So I might just peel the leather off the flap and then slide the flap and then glue it back around in underneath just to give it a bit of a pull. Technically I could do it all with it all. This one didn't stick. This is getting a little rough. So I'm going to quit while I'm ahead and get a fresh slate so it breaks easier. Again, for the whole unit here, I have to see where the wood stops. So I'll do the same. I'll probably just peel off. So I'm going to peel it back, blade it off, and then keep this piece and just pull it down and just tuck it in underneath so it gives a bit of a stretch. This one is, that's not too bad there. But that's all I'll do. These I'm going to leave here because the wood is going to press in here and keep that pushed in. I'm not worried about along here. So it's not the greatest looking here, but don't worry. I'm going to end up, I'll tidy all that up. I do have it tacked down, and like I said, I've already put the dashboard up against it, and it looks amazing. Again, I'm going to take this little edge off here. I can glue it in. I'm going to take a little edge. I don't want it sticking out too much because then I don't want too much stuff behind the wood, otherwise the wood will pull out from here and I won't get a nice tight finish. This will drop down a bit. Once I get the frame on, it will push this down. So that's it for now for this part. So apart from getting apart from bolting it up here, it looks good. So that's a nice leather dash, looking good. It's sitting up a small bit here, but again, that doesn't make a difference because the actual right here is where this line here is where the frame is going to push down, and I'll keep that down so you won't even see that. That's it. Right. So I know I said at the start I was going to start with the wiring harness. However, actually, I don't know why I put this in first. I should just put the wiring harness. I guess because I wanted it to run across to know where the wires were to pop out, because I often stick them out the gaps, what wires go where. So, alright, let's move on to doing some wiring harness. Alright, time to move on to the wiring harness. So, here's the wiring harness. It's a mess. And we're going to start putting it in. However, we're going to work from the inside out. So the best way to install this is to start from the inside out. Now here is a grommet. This grommet here is what goes on the firewall. So basically here onwards, so the first thing you should see is the V. You should see these two wires, and then it continues on all the way out. So it's basically, sorry, to separate it. This whole section here is what's going to pass through the firewall, and it gets passed through that hole right there. So, however, just be mindful of this. So, sorry when this zooms in, focuses in, should I say. Here's the HUD release cable. Now this one's all tacky, and I'm going to replace it. However, if you had yours in here and just swapping out the cable, be mindful that the wiring harness has to go in between the two. When it comes in, it actually goes upwards and between the cable and the wall, so it has to go up. That goes up, and what is your junction be here, and then that comes down and then runs to the rear. Whereas the rest of it continues on, because there's a clamp right here. I know it's a little dark in here. There's a clamp right up here where my fingers are, and that's where the wiring harness goes in there. That just pushes up and it squeezes in there. So just be mindful. If you're finding it hard to squeeze it in between, then just take this out altogether, pull it right out. If you're doing what I'm doing, which is going to be putting a new one on, then I'm just going to remove this first and save all that hassle. But yeah, just be mindful that before you feed it out, you have to feed it up and over this and then go out. Otherwise you'll end up in the wrong part. But then, like, literally the entire harness almost has to come all the way through here. So yeah, I'm not going to do any of that because I'm changing this anyway. So I'm just going to rip this out. I'm going to fit all the harness in anyway. So I mean, all of this here would have to squeeze in between, because then that's all going to run all the way across our dash here. So that's all the wiring, and instead it comes all the way down. So it is a bit of a logistical nightmare. You can do it the opposite way, like I said, which is, well, I say the opposite way. You can take the section that's going to go out and feed that over. So feed it over and down and then out. But to be honest, to save all that, I'd simply just disconnect the cable, pull it out, and then do all that. So, anyway, that's it. Make sure you do have the wire. Excuse me. Make sure you do have the right wiring harness for your car, because they do change in years. Most of them, like, they're really split between the early and late. You can make little changements if need to be. But yeah, that's it. So I'm going to start feeding this through, and once we feed this through, we're going to run it around. We'll pass through, and then we'll feed it, and it just runs all the way around. So I want to get all this in. I want to be able to get all the wiring in before I put the engine in, because it's just a little easier to get to instead of going around it. And again, before I put anything on here, I'll divide it, and actually I'll hang out the wires exactly what needs to go where. Then the rear one will go on, because again, with nothing in here, it's easy to run the wiring all the way around. So it's always best when you're at this stage here. And don't get me wrong, but if we're not at that stage, it's never that easy. So yeah, so instead of watching me painstaking the way through this and feeding it through, roll on the fast forward again. wiring harnesses in. So it's not too bad to put in. Well, I'd say it's not bad when you don't have much in the car. Obviously feeding it through here, I wasn't really sure. You see it does go in behind, so it goes behind here and pops out. Goes up top, you couldn't really see because, well, yeah. But other than that, there's only real two hard parts to put the wiring harness in. One being to get the wiring to go around the heater unit. So if you don't have the heater unit in, if you haven't got to that stage, it's good to always put the wiring harness in first before that heater. The dash is irrelevant. Other than that, well, I have it all tacked down, as you can see while I'm here. So just a bit of tape, put it down nice and neat. So when I put the underfelt on, it will go over it nice and neat, so it's as smooth as I can, as smooth as it can be. Other than that, the only other difficult wire is this one. This is the one that pops out like for the main wire that goes down to the starter. I have a new grommet in there, and there's a lot of wires that have to pop through. So I should have put a tiny bit of spray grease or something on it. But I can also reach over, which makes it easier. But if you're changing it and you have the frame on, I suggest you get a second person just to help pull that through. Other than that, that's really it for this part. Probably move on to the fuel tank next. There's a nice brand new fuel tank to go in. So I'll probably move on to that next. Other than that, there's a few little things to tidy up on the floor and everything before I get up to that stage. That's really it. So yeah, I appreciate you watching so far. And as we continue on with Doug's Tr6 here. And yeah, look, if you like what you see, again, I appreciate all the comments, suggestions and all that. I really appreciate it because it means people are watching the videos and everyone has their own opinions. But yeah, also hit the subscribe button. It always makes me feel good when people hit the subscribe button because it makes me feel like everything I'm doing is worthwhile. But yeah, it's going to be a beautiful car when it's done. I'm really looking forward to putting all the interior in. So fuel tank be next, and then I may put the underfelt in, and the engine and gearbox will go in so I can start putting all that up. And I don't know, maybe the doors. I say now, but yeah, depends on the day how it works. So thanks for watching, and see you in the next part.